Good day again. This is day 2 of the mission for the NCAR missing plane from 1968. I'm Tim Kearns with the Great Lakes Observing System, and we're broadcasting live from the actual mission itself. This was the plane that went down in 1968 after disappearing shortly after takeoff. 3 people were on board, and although there was an extensive search at the time, only debris washed ashore and very little trace has been found since. So a group really organized by the Smart Ships Coalition and run out of the Michigan Technological University in Houghton, Michigan, is leading an effort with a number of industry partners and other organizations to try and find the remains of this plane and put some closure to the story, but also document where it went down and possibly find out more about what may have happened on October 23rd, 1968. So with me today, I have Travis White. He's a research engineer at the Michigan Technological University, MTU. He's in the field right now. He's on a vessel, they call it a chase vessel, which is collecting data, but it's also following an autonomous surface vessel, also known as an ASV. You can think of it like a robot that's out there by itself collecting data, looking for the wreckage of this plane. Morning, Travis, or midday, depending on the time zone that you're in. Tell us how it's going so far.
Hey, good morning, Tim. Yeah, we're glad to be out here. We've got another beautiful day on Lake Superior. It's absolutely flat, calm, and sunny. So for mid-September, we're counting that as a success. I'm going to give you a quick update on our search. We got a lot of transit lines and survey lines done yesterday on our first day. We completed 4 lines of survey. Each of those survey lines was about 7.5 miles long. So we were covering about 1,000-foot swath with roughly 30% overlap. So for day 1, considering the short day on account of the launch ceremony and send-off, we're counting that as a pretty good win. And we're hoping today we can complete a similar amount of survey, if not more, with the good weather we have.
Fantastic. Now, I understand for today's live stream, we're not going to have a live feed of the computer that's actually collecting the data. I understand that it may have come into some contact with some water.
Yeah, well, that's the story of this morning. Is science is real and science is messy. So as we were transiting back in last night, it ended up being quite late at night. We had some water enter the front hatch on the ASV, and unfortunately, it rained down onto our data acquisition laptop. Now, the good news is our data was securely stored on a solid hard drive, and the laptop did not survive. So we spent the better part of this morning getting a new laptop set up for that data acquisition, and we're online now. We're doing a few quick shakedowns and reconfiguring, but we're on transit, and yeah, it's gonna be a great day.
Excellent. Well, as they say, sometimes technology and water don't always go together. Not always the case, but this is sometimes.
Hey, so just confirm what I'm doing down here.
Oh, excuse the interruption there. We've got a little bit of radio chatter here. So
no problem. So I'm wondering, so you're collecting data on the vessel that you're on right now. Tell us a little bit about the vessel that you're on and who you're with today, and maybe you can show us some of the data that you're collecting.
Yeah, absolutely. So on board today, I've got a crew of 6.
Can you confirm what I'm doing on the
I'm just going to turn down our radio chatter once more here. So I've got a crew of 6 with me today. I've got the 2 Ocean Infinity operators who are controlling the ASV and setting up the mission plans for that survey. I've got 2 technicians and engineers from Kongsberg Discovery who are operating a 2040 multi-beam over the side of our chase boat. And then I've got myself and Anthony Arnold, who is another research engineer at GLRC. So we've got quite a talented crew on board.
Excellent. In addition to showing our viewers some of what you're seeing on board, we'd also love to see outside, of course, because who doesn't love a good view of the water?
Oh. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So I'm going to pass the phone around here a little bit, and I'll show you behind me. We've got our ASV. You can see the lake conditions are quite still at the moment. And we've got a smaller chase boat out with us today. So they're tending to the ASV right now. We've got our control. This is our helm, and this is Chad Bonin from Ocean Infinity. So we've got our helm station for that ASV set up in the cabin of Sullivan. So this is a 26-foot boat we're on, and as you can see, things are a little tight in here at the moment. We've also got our data acquisition on this side from the ASV. So we are monitoring the ASV's computer, the one that we just replaced, and watching the survey lines coming from the Norbit multi-beam head on the ASV. And then we've got Allie and Michael from Kongsberg, and they're with us here operating the 2040 system behind me. And that is pole mounted over the side. So they're actually going to give you, I'm going to pass the phone. They're actually going to give you a quick update on how the survey is going from their end.
All righty. Hello, everyone. So Allie and I are operating the 2040. So here you can see our data station. I'm not sure how it's coming through, but we have a couple different data feeds that come into the multi-beam echo sounder. So you can see as we're moving along, we're mapping the seafloor right in this area. We also have a couple other different types of displays. Our waterfall display. This is where if we see anything like a shipwreck or a plane, you'll be able to notice the bottom go up and start to bottom track on some of the artifacts as they raise from the seafloor. One of the other types of data sets that we get out of this system is called backscatter. This is something that allows us not only to see kind of the relative level of the echo return, but it allows us to get a little bit of information on what type of bottom type there is at the bottom of the bottom of Lake Superior. So it's a lot of really interesting geophysical tools and data that comes out of these systems. And I'm going to hand it over to Allie to show some of what we saw yesterday. There we go.
Hi. Okay, so just to pull up a couple nice little screenshots of what we were seeing yesterday. Actually, which monitor works?
I think it's on the internal one.
Internal one's better. Okay, so we had some really nice sand wave features that we saw yesterday, which you can see in the bathymetry as well as in the backscatter. So these little bumps across the swath, which is what you call the full width of the sonar. I guess the sonar's entire footprint. So we want to show maybe the outside of the sonar.
Yeah, we can.
Head outside real quick. Bit of a struggle to get the door sometimes. Thank you. Okay, so we have mounted up on the top here. This kind of looks like a popsicle stick or a surfboard. This contains two GPS antennas that receive satellites from both GPS and from GLOS. And then the cables come down. Oh, here, Mike will hold it. That'll make it easier. Okay, so then the cables come down here and then connect down through this hole back here to both our sonar. They connect to our sonar and to our motion reference unit, which helps figure out how the vessel moves, its heave, pitch, roll, and yaw. And then the transducers down there, which is what is making the sound and listening for the sound to come back to get a better picture of the seafloor. And then all of that comes back into our computer and our processing unit so that we can take this kind of electrical pulse, all these electrical pulses, and turn them into something that's a bit more useful.
Sweet. Thank you, Allie. I'm going to hand it back to Travis.
All right, so there's a look at what we've got going on right now. As you can see, there's a lot happening on board the small chase boat.
Well, thanks so much, Travis, and thanks to your colleagues from Kongsberg for showing our viewers some fascinating footage from on the vessel, collecting data in real time. I guess one question that probably everybody's asking or wondering in their mind is, have you discovered anything yet that isn't natural? So not necessarily plane wreckage, but other interesting features on the lake floor as well.
Sure. Well, and that's a good way to kind of explain how this process works. So right now, as we're running our survey lines, we're basically looking for targets. We call a target something on the lake bed that is highly reflective or looks like it doesn't belong in that sonar image. And as we go along, we're basically marking those, flagging those. And that doesn't mean they're a plane, of course. You know, we're looking at linear features. We're looking at things that are shaped like a potential piece of an aircraft or even a ship. We had a couple targets yesterday that looked very much strikingly like the profile of a ship's hull. So as you can imagine, we now have to go back and do a little more investigation on some of those specific targets. And the way we'll do that is we will run some higher resolution, closer survey over top of those in order to re-image that target and try to get a confidence level of whether or not we should, send down an ROV or a diver. So the process gets more and more time intensive for each target that we investigate thoroughly. But for now, we're kind of looking for those high likelihood of being a piece of debris from this aircraft. And we have a few targets that are interesting, but it's hard to say without sending down that next piece of technology.
Wow. Okay. Fascinating stuff. Well, we look forward to you keeping us posted. We're going to check in again in about 3 hours, I believe. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, you're going to have the State of Michigan marine archaeologist on board with you as well, Wayne Lusardi. We're looking forward to chatting with him and getting an update from you at that time. And with any luck, I suppose, fingers crossed, your laptop will be up and working and we'll be able to tap in and see a live feed of the data that's being collected from the robot as it's out in real time, surveying the survey area.
Absolutely. We're looking forward to checking in with you then, Tim, and I do believe we'll be back online. So we'll look forward to sharing that data with you.
Fantastic. All right. Well, thanks again, Travis. We'll see you in a few hours. And to all of our viewers, you can see this video and others at youtube.com/realgloss. And if you're interested in watching the lake conditions live where Travis and his crew is right now, you can go to seagull.app or seagull.gloss.org, and you can get a free immersive experience to understand what's going on Lake Superior right now in real time. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you again in a few hours. This is a live stream looking for the remains or the wreckage of the missing plane, the NCAR plane from 1968, October 23rd, that went missing with 3 people on board. Being led by the Smart Ships Coalition and MTU is a 1-week-long search with a robotic vessel looking for that aircraft. We'll see you again.